What's up, y'all? Hope all is well with y'all today. You guys, it is time to get uncomfortable. No longer are we going to settle for stagnancy and staying places, staying with people just because it's all we know. It's all we're used to. God is saying it is time to evolve. It is time to step out of your comfort zone. It is time to truly grow. And if you want to feel the fullness of God's blessings and God's glory over your life, you must understand that you have to get uncomfortable. There's no way that you can get to your dreams in life. You can fulfill your aspirations in life. You can get all the answers to your prayers that you've been praying just by staying stagnant, staying stuck where you are, all because it's comfortable. You can't allow comfortability to keep you complacent in life, to keep you at a standstill when God is calling you to climb higher. He's calling you to ascend. And actually, He wants to take you to a different level in life. And when He's trying to take you somewhere, but you're resistant to it because you're like, oh, I'm used to this, or I don't have this, or I only know this, or what are these people going to think? What is the you can't allow all of those what ifs, what you don't have, what you think you still need, what you do have, what you're afraid to lose. You cannot let any of those carnal thoughts prevent you from fulfilling God's will in your life. You have to get uncomfortable. And many of you may be in a wilderness season, or maybe you're about to go into a wilderness season. Maybe He has called you off of your job. Maybe He has called you to a new land. He's called you to move. He's called you to leave certain people, places, and things behind in your life. And that's because He's getting ready to take you somewhere new that you may not be used to, because it's it's real out here. And when you go into the wilderness, it's it's foreign. It's You might be going to a foreign place. You might be in a state of isolation where it's just you, maybe just you and your children, or you and your, significant other and your children, or you might just be by yourself. And you must understand that during this season, it's only to truly strip you of old mindsets, old patterns, old behaviors that is hindering your anointing, that's hindering you from being able to fully transcend to where He's trying to call you to. God is in the season of taking us to higher heights. He wants us to elevate. He wants us to prosper. He wants us to fully come out of bondage. He wants us to come out of bondage. A lot of us are still stuck to things, people, places of the past, whether that's your thought process, whether that's stuck in these dead end toxic relationships, having toxic loyalty to people who you don't need to have any type of loyalty to, because they have shown you time and time again that they're not for you. Um, and that's one of the reasons why God is telling you it's time to shift. I know y'all just, yeah, I'm sure everybody has heard about the little eclipse thing that had happened. I don't know too much about that, but I know the days leading up, like the past, since April started, really, I felt a big shift in my own energy, and for the better, honestly. It's really, it's really been a lot of awakening. It's like when God takes you into the wilderness, it's to awaken you on so many levels, so many things that you've been battling with, that you never knew you were, that maybe you had an idea, but you wasn't you wasn't aware of the true impact certain things have had on you. And that's what God is trying to teach you in this next season of your life, because there's certain things that you have to be stripped of to prepare you for the new position He's calling you to, for that new lane that He's calling you to in your life. There's certain things that you must do. You have to break away from old habits that are preventing you from truly being able to walk out in your calling, to answer the call in your life, to just feel the fullness of God's glory over your life. And if you're afraid to get uncomfortable, you're going to stay stagnant, and you're going to stay wishing and hoping and wondering and wondering about what the woulda, coulda, shouldas, what I could be doing, what I should be doing. But it's not about what you should do if you just do it. If you stop being afraid, stop allowing the fear of the unknown, the fear of what people said in the past, the fear of what people are going to think about you, the fear, all those thoughts that bombard our heads, that keep us at a stagnant place, all because we're afraid of what this person going to say, what they're going to think. Oh, they're going to laugh at us. Or these people were already talking about us. So if we make this next move, they're going to have even more to say about us. You can't be afraid of that. You can't be afraid of leaving jobs behind. You can't be afraid of how your bills are going to get paid. You can't be afraid of any of these things. You have to trust that the Lord your God is leading you to somewhere new. And where he's leading you to, he's going to pave the way for you. He's going to lead you. He's going to be that pillar in a cloud that is leading you and that is following you and that is going with you as he leads you to your new land, as he leads you to your new place, as he leads you to the new territory that he's calling you to. So you have to have full trust in him and what he's doing for your life, and it's not going to make any sense. A lot of the things that God does never make sense to us because we're mere humans and we don't think like God thinks. We don't move how God moves. Like, our thoughts are not his thoughts. Our ways are not his ways. So a lot of the things that he does in our life, it just doesn't make sense until it does. And a lot of times it'll take a full circle moment for you to realize, like, oh, this is what that was for. And this is what that was for. And as I'm reading Exodus again, and I'm just reading the Israelites and seeing how they went through their wilderness season or whatnot, and they didn't understand what was going on either. They were, Moses came to them and told them that, hey, like, God is saying that you're his people. I'm going to deliver you. God is delivering you. He sent me to tell you this. This is the word of the Lord. He is choosing you. He is here to save you from bondage. And they couldn't even fully grasp the blessing that was here that they were praying for. They were crying out to God for years, for over 400 years, for 430 years, crying out to God, crying out to be freed from the affliction that the the masters had done on them. They were crying out, but the moment that redemption was there, they were scared. And a lot of us move that same way. We're crying out to break free from toxic relationships, from toxic jobs, from toxic environments, from toxic family members. But when the opportunity presents itself for you to go, you're now scared because you don't have all the answers. You don't have the complete blueprint, the complete map of what's to come and what to expect and what to do next, because you want to know every step of the way. We have such humans, it's like a lot of us operate in the spirit of control. We want to control things. We want to know too much. We think that we're the omniscient. We think that we're the ones that are all knowing when we know nothing. And if we allow the one that does, which is God, the only omniscient being that knows everything, that sees things that you don't see, that knows things that you don't know, if we allow him to just fully lead our life like he wants to, like he is desiring to, if we just surrender, we have to. I know it's hard because I'm living it too, and I've lived it for the past couple years, for the past 4 years, honestly, since God has called me off my job. I have not worked in 4 years, and then he then moved me to a new state, and it's been a mess since I've left. It's been ups and downs, it's been peaks and valleys, it's been all of the above, and through it all, I still have to understand that I'm not in control of this. Like, God called me here. I'm being obedient. And sometimes being obedient can make you feel like you're crazy because in the human mind, it's like, what are we doing here? What is really going on? Even the Israelites, as I read this, when I was just reading, they said, so this is when Pharaoh was chasing after them, because God, he hardened Pharaoh's heart. Like, God has the power to harden a person's heart and soften a person's heart, because it's all to exemplify his sovereignty, to show that I am the Lord. I am the one that's behind a lot of this stuff out here. I am the one that you need to call on. I'm the one. It's to show his power. It's to show his power. So he'll send you in seasons of bondage, in seasons of lack. So that way, when you come out of it, when you cry out to him to come up out of it, you know that was the power of God. And everybody else, your enemies too, know that There is a God. There is a true God. There is a true living God. There is someone that is watching everything. There is someone that is all powerful. There is someone that is higher than me, because a lot of these folk out here think that they are gods. These people in these high authorities, in these high positions, they will think that they're God. And they sometimes, it's like they tend to forget that there is a spiritual force that is more powerful than they could ever be. So God has to sometimes humble folks. He'll humble us, and he'll humble the other people as well, to show you that you're not in control of anything, baby. You only can go as far as I allow you to go. So when I was reading this and I saw, and basically that's what Pharaoh and them was doing. God hardened Pharaoh's heart. He ended up, after all the plagues that God sent, through the land of Egypt to do on Pharaoh and the Egyptians and whatnot, so that they can see that this God is the one that is bringing this wrath onto your land to free my people, to let my people go. This is to show my power. And so then he ended up hardening Egypt. So Pharaoh ended up letting the people go, and God ended up hardening his heart again to chase after them as they were at the Red Sea, as they parted, as Moses parted the Red Sea and led them through the Red Sea. And they didn't even understand what was going on. They couldn't fully comprehend it, because they're like, you're bringing me to this water. Like, what are you doing here? You took us from Egypt. That's what it say right here. Let me read this to y'all right quick. So it says, and when Pharaoh drew near to the children of Israel, they lifted their eyes up, and behold, the Egyptians marched after them, and they were so afraid. And the children of Israel cried out to the Lord, because they like, oh, we just got free, and here they come chasing after us again. Like, what did you do? And mind you, when Moses and Aaron came to them to free them, and they did their signs and wonders to show to them there is a God. Like, there has to be a higher power that is behind these miracles, these signs and wonders that these two men are standing in front of us doing. These are our fellow brothers. Moses and Aaron are our fellow brothers. And there has to be a higher power that is behind them. And then after they came to them, and then Moses went to Pharaoh as well and said, the Lord sent me. I am that I am sent me. And the Lord God of the Hebrews sent me to you to tell you to let my people go. This is an order of the Lord, and of course, Pharaoh, heart was hardened, as God told Moses from the beginning that he was going to do, because it was to show once again his sovereignty. And when he first went to them, and Pharaoh was like, who is this? Like, whatever. He ended up making the Israelites' job even harder. He afflicted them even more. He caused them to have to go out and get their own straw, and then they still had to make sure they reached their quota of how many whatever the assignment was, of like the bricks they had to stack or something like that. He made their workload heavier after Moses so-called came to free them. And Pharaoh was like, what? Because you came here, I'm going to make their burdens even heavier. So the Israelites was mad, like, you came to do this, and now look. And even Moses was like, you sent me to, he even got mad at God too. Like, what are you doing? Like, you sent me to these people, and now their affliction is even harder on them. Like, what did you send me here to do? Like, you sent me here to make it harder for them. I thought I was coming to free these people, So they're at this point, they're free, they're on the journey of breaking free, and they don't know where they're going. And they told Moses told them initially that it's only going to be a 3 days journey, for us to make our offerings to the Lord, and for us to just go on a 3 days journey in the wilderness, so that we can make our offerings to our Lord our God, and then we'll be into our promised land. But God took them the long way. He didn't take them right through the land of the Philistines to go right into their promised land, to right to the land of Canaan. He didn't take them right that way. He took them in a wilderness, and they were confused, and they were like, this is what it said. They said to Moses, because there were no graves in Egypt, have you taken us away to die in the wilderness? Wherefore has you dealt with us this way, to carry us forth out of Egypt? Is this not the word that we did tell you in Egypt, saying, let us alone that we may serve the Egyptians? For it had been better for us to serve the Egyptians than we should die in the wilderness. And Moses said to the people, fear you not, stand still and see the salvation of the Lord, which he will show you today. But the Egyptians whom you have seen today, you should see them again no more forever. The Lord shall fight for you, and you shall hold your peace. And that's Exodus 14:14. The Lord shall fight for you, and you shall be still. That's NIV version of it. Shh, lay down, lay down. You know, and then the Lord and then Moses ended up crying out to God, like, what is going on here? Like, what are you doing here? What is this that's going on? You break us free, and here now they come chasing after us again. I thought we broke away. And this is how we could feel in life sometimes, like when we want to escape from whatever our misery is. Some people it's health issues, some people it's relationship issues, some people it's financial issues, some people it's just just family issues. It's depression, it's anxiety, it's just your own mental well-being that is you're in bondage to yourself. Okay, y'all, my baby just woke up, so she threw me off a little bit. But as I was saying, sometimes you can be scared of actually breaking free. You can be scared of success. You can be scared of the dream relationship, or the dream new state, whatever it is that you're dreaming of and that you're hoping for, that you're praying for, the things that you want to come to pass. Sometimes you can be afraid of the journey that you have to go on to get to that thing. We think that things is going to come easy to us, but you must understand that nothing worth having comes easy, and you can't just get your blessings all the time without doing something. Oftentimes you have to do something. It might not be anything strenuous. It may just be simply just being obedient in that season, and just when God say go, you go. When God say stop communicating with certain folks, you just stop. When God says to make a left turn, make that turn. When he's taking you on a detour in life, you have to just be willing to go with his flow, and just to hold onto his hand and let him guide you to where he's trying to take you to, even though you don't quite understand, even though you might be hotel to hotel, living in a car, you might be constantly getting sick throughout your journey, you might be, whatever the circumstance is, you must understand that there is a reason for it. And oftentimes God will take you in this wilderness. He will take you to circle around and around. He won't just take you directly to your promise. He won't just allow it to just fall into your lap, because there is things that he needs you to do in that interim, in that middle process of breaking free from bondage and obtaining the promises from the Lord. There's things, like I said, that he got to strip you from different mindsets and behaviors and patterns, and just to equip you. It's a stripping and then a replacing with something new. It's to change and to let go of the old and replace it with something new. Out with the old, in with the new. This is what he will do for you during that season of taking you to your promises. So you have to be willing to be patient. You have to be understanding. You must stay in a praying state. You must keep communicating. Don't give up, because the promises are not like this. You must keep praying. You must keep fasting. But most of all, you must remain faithful, and you must be obedient, because it's a journey. And it's even talking about this. You're going on a pilgrimage, and I'm living it. I've been living it for the past 2 years. I don't know what's to come. I don't know what's going to happen. Like, even more recently, it's just been a lot of things that have shifted. And it's like, wow, I just can't believe that it took for this long for me to get this understanding. But this is why sometimes you will be in a wilderness for a time, because it's certain things that's not clicking for you yet. And until it clicks, it's like an awakening. And you be like, oh my gosh, it took me all this time just to get here. The one thing that you've been trying to do to strip me from that bitterness or that unforgiveness. It's a lot of things. The people pleasing ways, the self-sabotaging ways, the gluttony, the lust, the addictions that we have, a lot of these things that we battle, that is not what God wants for us, that he's taken us in this wilderness season to cleanse us up, to prepare us for our new land. It's the same thing that he was doing with the Israelites, why they had to go through all of that. Like he said to them in here, let me see if I could found it. Where was it? Because basically he was like, I don't want to take them right to their promised land, because he know what's about to happen when you get to your promised land. You're going to be in a position where you're going to have darts thrown at you. Like the Israelites, they were going to the promised land to fight. But if they didn't get preparation during the wilderness, if they didn't understand the laws, if they didn't understand the expectations, if they didn't understand what was truly required of them when they got in their new land, they would go there and fumble their blessing. Like this land, this fertile soil, this great, magnificent land that he's blessing you with, this land flowing of milk and honey that is promised to you, that he's about to place you in. If you're not ready for it, if you haven't went through the training, if you haven't went through boot camp, which is what your wilderness season is, it's boot camp. It's teaching you everything you need to know for when you get to your promised land, you know exactly how to steward your blessings so that you won't fumble them. And they needed to know how to do certain things so that when they get there, they won't fumble the blessings. And when they face challenges, they won't be ready to just run back to what they know and run back to what's comfortable, because it's human nature for us to want to stick to what's comfortable, to run back to what we know, because it's like, that's what I know. It's better to stick with what I know than what I don't know, because it's unforeseen, and we don't know what to expect with that. But we know what to expect with this old person. We know what to expect in our hometown. We know what to expect there. We know the streets. We know the back roads. We know everything about our hometown. So it's easier to stay there because we know how to maneuver in that land, you know? And I've experienced that too. Like being in a new environment, just especially by myself, it's like, it's different here, you know, because all the same things I used to do back when I was in Maryland is not the same here. Like, it's just not the same. So everything that I knew of how to survive there, all those tactics are futile here, because God is positioning me in a different way, and it just doesn't work the same. Even though some things, you know, you can do, but when God is calling you, when you're obedient, you're not going to do what you know God is telling you not to do. So I could do some of those things here, but God has stripped me from a lot of things so that I can't even do what I used to do there. Because he doesn't want you doing that stuff. He called you to a new land to do something different. But if you're scared, if you're if you're just scared, if you're fearful about learning new things, if you want to stay contented with what you're used to and don't want to expand your horizon and grow, God is trying to grow us. He is tired of us growing in age and not growing spiritually, mentally, emotionally. He needs us to reach certain levels, to call us to transcend to where he called us here to be. But when he formed us in our mama's womb, he already ordained us to be in certain positions. And a lot of us are not able to rightfully claim those positions and fully walk in our authority in those positions, because it's certain things that we still lack, whether that's confidence, our self-esteem is low, our self-worth is low. We don't even feel like we're really even deserving of the things that he's showing us, the visions that he's giving you, the dreams that he's giving you, the promises that he's giving you. It's like we don't even really feel like we're deserving of it sometimes. And even if sometimes we feel like we're deserving of it, we let self-sabotage because of something deep-rooted where we do feel like, I don't really deserve this, so I don't know how to even claim it. We don't know how to receive. A lot of us have a problem with truly receiving, whether that's just receiving help, receiving people just gifting you things. Like, we have to learn how to receive. And if we don't learn how to receive, if we don't learn how to give, some people are just takers and don't know how to give. So maybe that could be something that he's teaching you in this season, that you can give without expecting something in return. It's not always about equal exchange all the time. Yes, there is a time and place, for that. But sometimes you're in a season where you're just going to be giving. Sometimes you're in a season where you're just going to be receiving. Sometimes you're in a season where you're going to be giving and receiving. It just all depends on that season. And you have to trust what God is doing for you in that season. But ultimately, if you're afraid to step out of your comfort zone, if you're afraid to get on an airplane, to take that bus, to take that trip, if you're afraid to, you can't be afraid. You're going to miss your blessing all because you're afraid, all because you're lacking obedience. You don't want to miss out on your opportunity when God is saying, now is the time. Now is when you need to do it. Go now. Do this now. You must do it now because you don't know. You might miss what's coming if you don't obey what he's telling you to do now. It's not to say that it won't come back around, but you're going to waste time wandering in the wilderness longer than you have to because you couldn't be obedient to the first rule he gave you. A lot of times we do hold up our own blessings because of our lack of obedience. He told you to do that thing 5 days ago. You ain't did it yet. 5 days ago you were supposed to do it. 5 days ago you were supposed to start. He told you start a year ago and you still ain't did it because you're scared. You're not being obedient, and disobedience is sin. And you want to repent for being disobedient when he tells us to do certain things, whether he's calling you into a fast, whether he's calling you to stop doing something, calling you to start doing something. Do it. Do it now. Don't worry about what you don't have, what you don't know how. If he told you to start, baby, if he told you to go, like Nike, just do it. Just do it. No excuses, because God will equip you with what you need as you go along. You don't need to know the blueprint of every step of the way. You just need to just go. Ask God to continue to lead you. He is going before you because he wouldn't send you somewhere. He wouldn't be calling you somewhere if he didn't already have a plan for you in that place. You have to just trust him. Trust him. You must have faith. You must have faith because without faith, it is impossible to please him. You must stay covered with the shield of faith. That is your most powerful weapon. You must have faith. Faith moves mountains. It doesn't matter if you can see it. Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, evidence of the things not seen. You're hoping for change. You're hoping for growth. And just because you don't see exactly how it can happen, because it don't add up. You don't have enough money. You don't have enough resources. You don't have the support. You don't know how you don't know no one there. The things you're worried about that you don't have. Let that go, baby. Let go and let God. Stop worrying about that, because God is a God of miracles, signs, and wonders. He's going to have destiny helpers. He's sending his angels before you. Let me see if I can read that for y'all right quick. So it says, and it came to pass when Pharaoh had let the people go that God led them not through the way of the Philistines, although that was near. For God said, let's peradventure the people repent when they see war and they return to Egypt. But God led the people about through the way of the wilderness of the Red Sea, and the children of Israel went up harnessed out of the land of Egypt. And they took their journey from Succoth and encamped in Etham in the edge of the wilderness. And the Lord went before them by day in a pillar of a cloud to lead them the way, and by night in a pillar of fire to give them light to go by day and night. He took not away the pillar of the cloud by day, nor the pillar of the fire by night from before the people. Basically saying, I'm with you, even when you think I'm not, even when you think that, even when it's dark times, even when it feels like there's no way out, even when it feels like all odds are against you, baby, I'm still with you. I have not left you nor forsaken you. I will not leave nor forsake you. If I'm calling you to a place, though I may be quiet, and sometimes God will be quiet because he already gave you instruction, and you ain't did that yet. You have not did that yet. You waiting for the next step. You need to do that one. That step he told you to do already, do that first. Then you'll worry about what's next. We be trying to jump ahead. We like to skip steps because we want to, like I always say, we want to take the elevator to everything. We don't want to go through the journey. And when you're in this season of your life, if you're in a wilderness season, if you're on your spiritual journey, if you're on a spiritual healing journey, which ultimately that's what your wilderness season is about. It's cleaning you up. It's sanctifying you. It's purifying you. You're going through consecration. The wilderness is for consecration, to prepare you for the blessing, to prepare you for your new position, to prepare you for everything that he has promised you, the vision that he has given you. He's preparing you for that. Many of you guys, he's calling you to step in full authority in your calling, to be a prophet, to get up on YouTube and speak, or get on any platform and speak, to start your ministry, whatever that is. So he needs to take you on this journey to build up your confidence, to reassure you that it doesn't matter what you think you can't do. It doesn't matter what they said you can't do. It doesn't matter what the enemies in your life, the naysayers, the people who was in your head, what they said you can't do. It doesn't matter what they said. It doesn't matter what they said. It's about what God said that you're here to do. It doesn't even matter what you say, because we do a lot of negative self-talk ourselves, thinking that we're not qualified, thinking we're undeserving because of things of the past, what other people done told us, how other people that made us feel. But God says no. Just like he was having a battle, he got mad at Moses because Moses is like, you want me to lead your people? Who am I? I have uncircumcised lips. I do not speak well. I'm not eloquent of speech. Get my brother Aaron to do it. Get somebody else to do it. And I be feeling like Moses all the time. That's why I have to go back and read some of this stuff, because I be feeling it. I feel this, and I be like, I don't even feel qualified to do that. I'm still this. I'm still that. Like, and then it's like, sometimes I be feeling like you want me, I'm not ready for that. But he's saying, yes, you are. Like, you're going to do it. I'm equipping you. You've been through the motions. You know it, but feeling not confident enough to do it because you think that you're not qualified, like Moses did. Like Moses, God said, you're going to be God, and Aaron going to be your prophet, because I'm delivering the word to you. Then you going to tell Aaron, and he going to speak it to these Israelites. He going to be the main one speaking when y'all go up to Pharaoh. Y'all going to work in this thing together. And that's what this season is about too. It's really working with God. Stop working against him. You wonder why certain breakthrough isn't happening. It's because you're working against God. You're working against him through lack of faith, through lack of obedience, through lack of repentance, through lack of communion. You're not spending enough time with him. You want to make sure you're doing these things. And like I said, this is what I go into in my book. So make sure y'all get 7 Keys to the Kingdom. The blueprint on how to build an ultimate relationship with God is in the link in the description box, because these are the things that we go over on exactly how to do these things, how to foster that intimacy with him so you can fully hear him and follow his leadership and trust him even when you don't know. I'm telling you, when you really learn to trust God, it's an overwhelming like peace that come amongst you. And you're going to be in situations where you literally could be living under the bridge and you still going to just have peace and just know that this too shall pass. I don't know why I'm in this season. I don't know why I'm here. Obviously, it's a part of where God is taking me. This is going to be a part of my testimony. This is going to be, it's a reason for this, because God doesn't do anything for no reason. It's going to be a reason for it. And I'm telling you, I see a lot that God has planned for me in many areas. And like I said, over this past week, it's just been like so much revelation. And obviously now is not the time to speak on everything, because everything hasn't fully happened. But I feel the shift. I feel where it's going. And it makes me, even now, as I look back to 2 years ago, I'm like, okay, I understand why I had to go through that. I understand this. I understand that. It's like you just have like awakening after awakening, and it's just constant pruning and constantly opening you up and making you get in touch with your feelings. This is what's going to happen in your wilderness season. It's going to fully strip you of that pride. A lot of our pride really prevents us from getting our blessings because we're so prideful. And I told y'all that in that judgment on women's pride video, because I'm telling you, we'll get there when we get there. I'm not going to say too much right now, But it's just, I just can't even believe, like, it's just like a, an epiphany, like overnight. It just, um, after that last fast that I did, it's just like a couple days later, things just shifted because I did it at the end of the month. Like it was right leading up until April. And like I said, April has just been the beginning of April. It's just been like a peace that has just come upon me. And then when I really should be worried about a lot of things, and when I really should, you know, it's just it's just a lot happening. But at the same time, like it says here, the Lord shall fight for you. You shall hold your peace. You need to just be still and do what I told you to do. Stay focused on the assignment that I told you to do right now. That's what God wants us to do. Stay focused, stay planted where he has placed you. Stay planted there. When he's ready to pick you up and move you to your next, allow him to. Hold on to his hand and follow him there. You might not understand why you're being moved there. You might not understand this next step that he has you on, but just go to the next step. He'll reveal that when you get there. And once you handle all the assignments, all the duties and tasks that you need to handle at that step, then you'll move on to the next step. And then the next step. And then ultimately, it's going to lead you to your promise. It's going to lead you to your prayers being answered. It's going to lead you to everything that you have been waiting on. But you must understand that it's steps. And some steps take longer. You might stay in step 1 for a year, 2 years. You don't know. It's all divine alignment, divine timing. It's all trusting in God's timing, because God's timing is not our timing. Human years are not the same as spirit years, as years in the heavens. We know 1,000 human years is one day in the heavens, is one day in the spirit realm. That's why the time that we place on our life, we think we're running out of time. Oh, so much time has passed. I lost so much time. We done wasted so much time. These are years I'm never going to get back. But God be like, I will make up for all that time. You really ain't missed out on nothing. I will pause time for you. I will pause time. Time is an illusion. It's not even real, because we would not have no track. If you really think about things, if they didn't make these clocks and stuff, we literally would have no clue what time it is. We would have no clue what age it is, unless you're the wise men that follow the sun and stuff, the moon, and pay attention to that. We would have no clue. We don't know how old we really are. We don't really know. Like we really don't know. And I even saw, I think I heard that some of these, like the older generations, like not that far off either. Like maybe the grandparents that might be like 100 years old now, some of them didn't even have birth certificates. They didn't even have, like, they don't even know all of that stuff. They don't know when they were born. They don't know what time they were born. They don't know a lot of the stuff that modern day time has. So time really is an illusion. And a lot of times we be so caught up onto time that we can block our own blessings, because we feel like we don't have enough time. So we feel like, why even try this? Why even take this step? Why even we'll sit there and stay somewhere because we feel like, oh, I don't have many years left. I might as well just stay here. Baby, you don't know what can happen for you in just 1 year, in just 7 days. God created the world in 6 days and rested on the 7th. You don't know. It's so funny. I was saying that earlier. I was like, I mean, really overnight, 1 hour. I mean, life can change in the blink of a second. Like in the blink of an eye, everything about your life can change. There is no real such thing as time. And we'll prevent ourselves from being able to move ahead in life because we're worried about the time. We don't have enough time, or I'm already this old. Oh, I can't do this. I have this many children. I have this. I'm that. I don't have this education. We think that so many things that we don't have. So we think we allow that stuff to prevent us from moving forward. We self-sabotage because of our own negative thinking, our own negative self-talk. We'll try to convince ourselves to go backwards to our bondage, to our Egypt, to our place of bondage where God has freed us from, or at least is trying to free us from. And because where he's taken us now doesn't look like what was promised. It doesn't look like all the glitz and glamour yet. We like, what have I done? What have I done? I've had that come to me so many times during this season. I'm like, I was reading my journal entries from 2022. That's why I say journaling is so pivotal. Like, you want to journal your experiences in life, because you're going to look back and be like, dang, look how I was worried about this, and look where I am now. And this too shall pass. It's a reason for this. Like, it's just so much revelation that I've gotten recently, and it just showed me that everything happened the way it needed to happen. Nothing happens by mistake. Everything is happening the exact way it's supposed to happen. I don't care what your circumstance is right now, how bad it is right now. It's happening the way it's supposed to. And guess who's going to get the glory for your story when he pull you out of that? The Lord. And that is why God will allow us to fall, and he'll pick us back up. We fall down, but we get up. He'll pick you back up because he know where he's going to lead you. He know where he's taking you. You don't know. And because you don't know, you get worried, you get anxious, and you feel like you messed up. You feel like, oh, I should have did this. Oh, I shouldn't have did that. Oh, you beat yourself up instead of realizing God got this. It happened the way it was supposed to. It happened the way it was supposed to. He's going to see you through. You're going to realize why you needed certain things to happen. I'm just having that revelation now, and it's like, this had to happen. Like, that had to happen. Things that at one point where I used to be crying about those things, I'm like, this had to happen. I understand now why this happens. And that's what I'm saying. Once you ascend to your higher heights, once you reach that level of understanding, once you get clarity, but it takes time sometimes, because it has taken time for me to understand certain things. And I'm like, but it needed to take that time. There was no avoiding that, because everybody is different, and it takes time sometimes for you to realize certain things. And that's why you just have to trust the process. You have to trust God. You have to trust what he's doing in your life. You have to have faith. You have to have faith and just be like, I don't know, but I know who I serve. I know that the God I serve, he doesn't do anything without intention. He's very intentional. He's very strategic. He is not like humans who we just do things. We don't know why we're doing it. We just be like, oh, I just felt it this way, so I just did this because my feelings drove me to do this. God don't operate on feelings. He is the most logical. We just don't understand his logic because he has a level of wisdom that surpasses all understanding. So we don't have that. And that's why it's important for us to lean on him, because only he knows what's happening, why it's happening. And when he's positioning you for certain things, you have to submit to his will so that you can be planted right where you need to be to receive what is yours. So that's really all I wanted to say in this video, you guys. If y'all are in y'all wilderness season, y'all definitely need to be reading Exodus, because it's so funny. It's really necessary to just understand, because you're going to be able to relate to this. And when you see how God did what he did for them, it gives you reassurance. Like, reading the word, this is why I always say read your word, because you're going through the same things that these people in the book went through. You're going through these things. We are these people in the book. We are the Israelites. We are the ones that was in slavery for 430 years, 400 years. We are these people. So of course it's going to make more sense when you read it and see what they did, what they didn't do, how God got frustrated. Like, he was mad at me. He was mad. I just was laughing. He was mad at Moses because I did the same thing. I'm like, just give it to somebody else. Like, I don't want to do this. Like, I don't want this position that you want me to be in. Like, I don't want this. Give it to somebody else who wants to be on camera, who wants to do this, who do like to like, give it to somebody else. And that will make God upset because he's like, I chose you. Like, no, you're going to do this. You don't get really no say so in this because I ordained you to do that and you're going to do it, you know? And I'm giving you everything you need to do it. You need to stop feeling like you're not this and you're not that. It's things that you need to work on so that you're not feeling like you shouldn't do this. And a lot of times when he's calling you sometimes in life, you gonna be like, I don't really want to do that. Like, because it's not who I am. Like, I'm ducked off. I don't care about attention. I don't care about being seen. I don't care about being an influencer. I don't care about these things. Like, that's not really what I want. But that's what he called you to do. And you have to be obedient and answer that call in your life. Because if you don't, you're going to pay the price. And those that's coming after you going to pay the price because now they're going to have to go through some of the same things you had to go through, because you got to realize a lot of the things that you went through was only to lead you to where you are ultimately supposed to be, to help other people that went through that same thing. So if, it's like if you don't answer the call, that means now your kids, one of your kids or grandkids, now they're going to have to go through it because somebody got to do it. He needs bodies to use. He needs certain things to be spoken. And he knows that a lot of people don't want to do it, but you're one that will do it. So he needs you to do it. So that's just like a lot of revelation that I personally have been getting along. It's just a lot. It's a lot, but I understand why I had to get so uncomfortable, why I had to be in such an uncomfortable season in my life, why I'm still in an uncomfortable season in my life. I'm still not comfortable, but you're not going to be comfortable. He doesn't want you comfortable, because the moment you get comfortable, you're going to start slacking off. You're going to start getting lackadaisical. You're going to start not having that fire that you once had. And we got to reignite that fire so that you can truly get to where I need you to be, because you ain't there yet. You're on the way there, but you're not there. So God needs you to have faith, be obedient, be patient, trust what he's doing. Trust what he's doing, y'all. I'm telling you, it's not the easiest thing to do. It doesn't make sense at all sometimes. But afterwards, like, it'd be like you go down, you be like, oh, this and that and that. Oh, and remember when I said this, and remember when this happened, and remember, oh, and then I remember I saw this, and then I remember, like, it all started to add up. It'd be like, oh my gosh, it all comes full circle. And then you'd be like, wow, just like everything now, I know maybe in a year, a couple years, a couple months, I'm gonna have some testimonies, okay? And that's ultimately what it is. He wants us to have testimonies. That's why even like he told them in here, write this, write out what's happening, write this in a book, write this, speak this. This is why he'll have us to speak our testimony so that our story can help someone else. And to exemplify his marvelous ways, to exemplify his sovereignty, to show that, wow, if God did it for this person, he can do it for me too. If he did it for me, he can do it for you too. All I have to do is trust like they did. They went through the same things. I see so many people now. I just saw in one of these videos I was watching that came up on my homepage, the girls, like, it's like I'm like, dang, she going through the same thing I was going through. Like, she said, I've been hotel to hotel, and now I'm in a homeless shelter. I went through the same exact thing. Like, I went through a whole journey. It's been a lot. And then I saw another girl who went, like, it's just so funny how God works and how he uses us to help one another. And that's why it's important for us to be obedient, answer the calls in our life, because you don't know how your voice, you don't know how your testimony, you don't know how your story is going to help someone else out there that may only be able to receive what you're saying, that they may not be able to receive what someone else is saying. It might be just you that awaken them, that give them that clarity that they need. He's counting on you, which is why he needs you to be obedient, to show up. I was supposed to do this video for the past couple of days, but I was unmotivated. I'm just like, I don't really feel like it. Like, I don't really feel like it. And one thing about it, God is going to, it's like, I don't know about everybody else, but he definitely going to convict me, or he definitely going to show. He does it for all of us, though. he definitely going to, you're going to keep, you're going to be watching something else, or you just going to be somewhere and then you're going to hear those words. Like, because I knew for the past couple days, like literally since today is Wednesday, I've known since like freaking Saturday that I needed to record this video about getting uncomfortable. And I'm just like, I don't really feel like it. Like, I don't really feel like it. And then I'm just, y'all know I be having my moments and stuff. And I'm like, oh. But then a couple videos that I've watched this week, and they said just like one word about comfortable and uncomfortable or stagnant. And I'm like, okay, it's just like triggering me. And I already feel it in my spirit. I'm like, I need to do a video. I haven't did a video in a couple of days, but it's like I'm just unmotivated. And I just been writing out my feelings in my journal and stuff. Just like, I'm just feeling like unmotivated to do that. Because we be letting our pride and our our moments of lacking our faith, because we do have to wait for so long for things, and we could be like, what am I even doing? What is, like, I just don't even want to do it. Like, why? We can be stubborn, and y'all know I done told y'all I'm stubborn. I'm that little stubborn child of God's. And you can just hold things up that way. So get out your own way. Don't self-sabotage your blessings. Don't self-sabotage, everything that's on the horizon for you because you're scared to do something, or you just don't feel like doing it because you might be battling a slothful spirit. Rebuke that, pray it away, especially when it's like stuff just come on you. Because I was feeling good for days, and then all of a sudden it's like where did this come from? And when you feel that those attacks that come onto you, you gotta rebuke them. You gotta pray against it. When you feeling like you don't feel like praying, you gotta pray anyway. Sometimes that drive, that motivation not gonna be there. That you're not gonna feel motivated every day. You're not gonna feel it because life be life, and it's like we're on these spiritual journeys, but we're also living real life. We're also humans that have human feelings. So it just be hard all the time to go off the spirit and to remember the faith and remember all of that stuff. It is hard sometimes, but that's when you really got to press in, because the enemy don't want you to press into your faith. The enemy don't want you to wear your spiritual clothing, baby. He don't want you to do that. He don't want you to stay covered with that faith. He wants you to feel fear and doubt and forget everything that God has already done for you before. And because this one thing is taking this amount of time, and because the one thing that you're asking for, and then you're not realizing every other thing that he's doing for you and all the other prayers that he's been answering. But because this one prayer hasn't yet been answered, but he's been answering all these other ones, you don't really soak it in. Like, we don't really soak it in of everything. And that's why, we do have to make sure we're practicing gratitude. And I have been consistent with my gratitude journaling for the past like 2 weeks, because me feeling these moments, it helps me get out of that funk. When that little fear and stuff try to come on me, and I get the, being mad or something, I have to remember, be grateful. Like, be grateful what you do have. Like, expressing that gratitude does help fight off that seed of fear and doubt that the enemy be trying to plant in you. And it just be crazy sometimes, because it just come over you. Like, I'm like, where did this come from? Like, I was feeling fine. I was feeling at peace. And then this came. Like, and that's why you also too got to be mindful of what you watching, what you listening to, because sometimes, comparing your life and your walk to other people's, because you see what's happening for them, and it might not be happening for you, and you'll be like, well, what am I doing wrong? But it's not even that you're necessarily doing nothing wrong. It's just not your time yet. It's a time and a place for everything and for everyone. So you got to just keep your eyes on your narrow path that God has you on. Your path is not the next person's path. Comparison is the thief of joy. And when you start, looking at this way and that way, you can be blinded by your own greatness thing. And it can take you out of your sense of gratitude of what God has already been doing for you. So you just got to stay patient, stay down till you come up, trust the process, Keep your eyes straight. Keep your eyes focused on what God has you to do. Don't worry about everything that's going on around you. Focus on what God has you doing and where you're headed. Keep your eyes in your own lane so that way you do not teeter and totter, going this way, going that way. No, God has you positioned here. You're planted here. Keep going straight. Keep walking out this walk. Keep fighting a good fight of faith. And that's all you can do. But know that you do have to get uncomfortable. Make the changes, make the shifts that you need to make. When God is trying to pull you this way, make sure you'll know if it's God urging you, because that conviction, it ain't gonna leave. You know when it's God because you feel it in your gut, that conviction, or you might hear the voice, you might hear God's voice, you might, keep getting that same confirmation over and over again. Random people might just come up and say something to you. You might just see the word somewhere. You will see the signs and synchronicities when God is calling you to do something or go somewhere or do something. You're gonna know. You will know. So trust it, trust him, trust your process, have faith. Do not wither. Do not wither. You're human, you're going to feel ways, but remember to be humble, have humility, humble yourself. Okay, I keep running out of storage, but he knows more than you. So trust the man with the plan, baby. Trust the man with the plan. Follow his plan, because if you follow his plan, you will never be led astray. You will never have to wonder, I should have did this, should have did that. You're going to know. You're going to know. Okay, so until the next time, you guys, I'll see y'all in the next video. Deuces.